Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. Nearly 4 months after taking the top job at JWT as Worldwide Chief Creative Officer, Matt Eastwood spent nearly a week at the agency's India office. Storyboard editor Anant Rangaswamy caught up with him to understand the importance of building brand experiences and the pressures of creating shareable and viral content. Listen in.
Just 3 months into the company and you've spent a lot of time in India. I understand from you it's almost a week now.
Yeah.
So how do you find the time to be in India, and why do you find the time to be in India?
Well, I think you know, it's really important. As I said, I'm trying to get a real sense of our company around the world before I kind of make any decisions or do any, make any major changes. And I really want to spend proper time in the agencies. And I think I could have come to India for a day and left, but I think coming here for 5 days has been, really, really helpful in terms of just getting under the skin of the company. I've met a bunch of clients, which has been really great to get their feedback on, on the agency and what we're doing, and so I think for me, India was really important because it is actually. Our offices here are one of our best performing offices in the world, both creatively and from a business point of view. I think JWT had an incredible year at awards this year, and topped all the shows at Cannes and Goa Fest, etc. So I guess in a way that got India on my radar and made me think I better get down there and see what's happening. It's amongst one of the first countries I've spent a lot of time in. So
on this topic, we reference to the Harvey Nichols campaign.
Yes.
The crazy phenomenon of an agency not just recommending a strategy, but we're asking the client to create a product.
Yes. Yeah.
Are we going to see more stuff like that?
I think we are. I mean, I delivered a speech in Brazil about 3 weeks ago, which was about brand experiences, and I think there's certainly a growing knowledge about millennials that really what is important to them now is experiences. They talk about money is less important. Their life is about gathering experiences, and I think that's why they're more actively traveling than any generation before them. That's why they'll change jobs after 2 years, because they're gathering experiences, and I think brands have to behave the same way. So I think things like the Harvey Nichols example, that's about building a total experience for the brand. It's more than just a TV ad telling you about the product. It's inventing the product itself. Absolutely. And I think we talk about the positioning for JWT as creating pioneering solutions for brands and business, and that idea of solutions is really important because it doesn't say creating pioneering ads or doesn't say creating pioneering ideas. It's actually solutions, and that might be a product in some case. And I saw some amazing work out of our office in Delhi yesterday that they were doing for Pepsi in terms of innovation around the can. And that's something that is traditionally not necessarily an agency's responsibility, but I think we are delivering that kind of thinking now. And I think as we realise that the experience of the brand is as important as the kind of physical manifestation of it in advertising, we're delivering more and more of those kind of solutions.
Right. I wouldn't normally ask a visiting CCO this question, but you've been here 5-6 days. So can you share some work you've seen on this visit?
Actually, I'll share 2 things that I saw because they really affected me, and I came on the Saturday night at the end of Diwali, and I'd read about that, and I know what that means, and so I saw a couple of films from both from JWT, one for Pepsi and one for Kit Kat, that brought that idea to life. The Pepsi one was a 7-minute film that I think really it seemed to hit a great cultural insight into people not going home for Diwali, and I think I thought it was a really beautiful piece of work. I thought it was wonderfully measured, and I thought it made a judgment not on technology. It didn't say that Facebook is not good enough. It just said Facebook is not enough. It was about going home to your family at that time, and I thought that was a really beautiful piece of work. And then interestingly, the other piece was also for Diwali from Kit Kat, which was the astronaut in space who was missing home, And there was a scene at the end of that where she looks out the window and sees all the fireworks going off, and that's exactly what I flew into on Saturday night. I flew in as the fireworks were going off across the city, so I saw that spot, and I was like, what a perfect encapsulation of the feeling. And I think both of those brands, I was incredibly impressed by that work, and the fact that neither of them were on television. They were online films, but the views for both have been fantastic, and I think they've really affected people in India in a very genuine way, which is great.
Right. And staying with that, that's the upside, that the films do well and you get millions of views, but that's a new pressure on creative directors and on marketers.
Yes.
When you release something, especially the digital-only one, then you put it up and it sinks.
And you expect everyone to...
So this new sharing quotient that you seem to need to build into your communication.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the great thing about online films, I think, is that it really puts pressure on both agency and client to deliver quality content. I mean, because it's opt-in, it's not like you can... It's not like a TV commercial that you have to watch it whether you want to watch it or not. So I think taking on that responsibility of we have to make something that people will be drawn to, that they will want to see, is fantastic for the industry. I think it's fantastic for clients because it pressures them to do culturally relevant, impactful work, and it pressures agencies to really push their creativity as far as they can to do something that is going to attract attention. And I think any clients who try that and have had a failure will realise that maybe we didn't do enough. Maybe our idea wasn't strong enough or relevant enough or culturally relevant enough. So I think it's actually a really good thing because it pushes people to do better.
Right. And the last question, when is your next trip? And connected to that is, what would you like to have seen change in India creatively by the time you come back next?
Yeah. The easiest way to get me back is make me love the country, and then I'll come back. So I'll definitely be back. And in terms of what would I like to see change, I think Indian advertising is a really vibrant culture, and I think there's so much work, I think, that resonates in a very human way here, that I'd like to see that just keep growing and keep doing that work that is culturally relevant to the market. Don't worry about, does it matter, are people overseas going to understand it, because it ultimately doesn't matter. And I think,
except if it comes to awards.
Except if it comes to awards. But, that's okay, because I think there are some universal human insights that are true across the world no matter what. So that work will win, everywhere. But, the Pepsi ad I spoke about, for instance, I think, that may not do as well it can, because perhaps can judges from Japan or from Sweden won't understand the cultural significance of what it's like to not go home for Diwali 2 years in a row, etc., if they haven't been here. But I think it'll do famously well at Goa Fest and local award shows, and I think that's equally as important. So keeping that alive, I think, is what I'd like to see.
Matt also said that he plans to visit India at least thrice a year. We're going to take a short break here. When we return, the big winners at Ogilvy's Envies.